Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. 2 mega news days in a row. Well, MegaMagic news days in a row. There's a lot going on recently. We have these like lulls, and then all of a sudden a bunch of stuff will happen all at once. Some of it not planned by Wizards. Information getting out a little bit early in some cases, which is always nice to have those delicious little tidbits to eat. Speaking of eating, I'm actually going to take a moment to mention my second channel has a brand new video released on it. It is a lot of fun. I invite you to come check it out. I will share the link for that down in the comments. So we're here to talk about some significant stuff that's going on with Magic the Gathering. One is the announcement of bannings to come. So in 1 week from now, we are going to be facing some bannings. Now, Wizards does, well, I guess technically it could be bannings or unbannings. You know what I mean? Wizards is kind of tight-lipped about this sort of thing. They're giving us a week heads up to know things are changing without really letting us know what is going to be changing. Now, obviously, there's some cards that people feel fairly strongly about that they need to get the boot. If I had to pick the one that seems the most likely out of everything, I mean, I could be wrong about this because it's not like I have my thumb on the heartbeat of all of the formats. I'm not a format meta master, but it seems like Underworld Breach is causing a big disruption. It is causing a noticeable impact in modern and older formats as well. This is a card that enables some crazy like combo engine setups where you can do a lot of graveyard action, right? And we've seen, it's funny how many different cards we've seen that feed into this whole graveyard scenario that get out of hand. But obviously, Underworld Breach has some, it feels like some cards we've seen in the past. It's got kind of a Yawgmoth's Will-esque feel to it, you know? It's clearly a card with a significant amount of power. So I would not be surprised to see that up on the chopping block. There's other things being tossed around. I mean, obviously, you have people making jokes like ban islands and other people complaining, saying, hey, why don't you give us more notice in advance? And basically, it's like the way Wizards is doing things seems to almost be like a combination of how things used to be, where we had set intervals where we would have the bannings, and they kind of shoved that aside, which I prefer. I prefer the more responsive style bannings, where they go, okay, you know what? Let's not wait 3 months to fix a problem. Now, in terms of formats like Standard, I don't actually see anything that seems too busted and dumb. I mean, it was pretty obvious before when Field of the Dead and Oko were running rampant, right? I mean, Oko is the most gimme ban since like Hogak, right? Where everybody knew it. Oko had to get got. Now, Oko is actually another one that people are tossing around right now as a potential Oko might get another banning, in which case we'll have to bring out the old Oko background that we used back in the days of constant Okoosity. So we've got a potential for bans in a number of different formats. Standard feels like it's probably going to be left alone. It doesn't seem too unbalanced right now. I don't know. If you feel different about that, let me know in the comments, because I feel like I know what's up, but at the same time, I fully admit that I'm the dude who plays the 250 card green deck in casual. I'm just over there in unranked going, let me smash you with my Thorn Mammoth. So maybe I don't exactly know what the highest candidates are in terms of Standard, but it feels like nothing is breaking Standard to the point where everything is warped around it specifically. So we've got those bannings coming up. We have MTGO getting snubbed. Now it's interesting to see what's going on with MTGO. Oh, you know what? Actually, let's just talk about the snubbing first, and then I just want to talk about MTGO a bit, because I was thinking about how MTGO in a lot of ways is superior to Arena, but it's in trouble over time based on what's going on here. So Wizards of the Coast put out a tweet with a little poll saying, hey, where do you prefer to see your Magic championships? In basically paper, otherwise known as tabletop Magic, or on Arena, right? They had that up for, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so before it got taken down. And it got re-uploaded again, not re-uploaded, I guess, reposted, retweeted. You can't really call a tweet an upload. It's not really that significant. So the tweet was posted again, but this time it said tabletop versus online, because there had been some outcry about MTGO, and MTGO players going, yo, wait, what about us? And it is kind of funny to think about the fact that Wizards is ignoring MTGO when they use them to kind of feel out Pioneer. Like, they use MTGO to sort out formats that aren't standard and go, okay, you know what, what's ripping it up? Like, it's actually MTGO is a really useful tool for the whole canary in the coal mine scenario, if you know what I mean. You guys are familiar with the canary in the coal mine, right? Am I just showing my age here? Remember when we were kids and we used to be miners and they had the canary? I feel like the Hunchback of Notre Dame when I do that. Okay, we had the little canary in a cage here, and if the canary died, you got to get out of the mine, like that kind of a scenario where they would go, you know what, we're not gonna. I think the last time that I can remember where it made a really quick impact outside of Pioneer was back in the Kaladesh days, where they decided, you know what, we're not going to do any bannings right now. And then 2 days later, based on what was going on MTGO, they're like, oh God, no, okay, you know what, we need to do some bannings. We messed up. We're doing an emergency banning like 2 days later. Oh, that kind of stuff is funny to me. So MTGO is getting no respect from Wizards. And part of that is because if you look at it from the perspective of Wizards of the Coast, MTGO is not nearly as desirable to them as Arena is on multiple levels. There's the profitability level where MTGO, yes, you get to sell digital packs to people, right? They're both digital platforms. MTGO has like everything, all the Magic cards that exist. As far as I understand, there's nothing that exists in Magic the Gathering that hasn't made its way onto MTGO, which is pretty cool. Being able to access all the digital cards and not having to worry about organizing that many cards, like, digital platforms are really sweet in terms of keeping your cards organized. I'm thinking about this more because lately I've been moving around a bunch of boxes and the boxes of Magic cards. But either way, MTGO has all the cards in existence, and it's a pay-to-play scenario, right? Where basically, like, Wizards does get money because you need to buy booster packs, you need to buy, like, entry into events, you need to spend money even just to get MTGO, just to start playing MTGO. It's the last I checked, when the last account I signed up for was $10. So it's $10 American just to get into the game, right? And then they sell you all the boosters and you have to pay to get into events. But you also have the ability to sell these cards to other individuals. I mean, not in physical form really, but there is a way to do that too, now that I think about it. Because MTGO has redemptions as well. I wasn't even thinking about that. But MTGO allows you to own these cards and freely trade them between accounts. And because the game uses a system of tickets to get into events and things like that, tickets have become the currency. So you can actually play MTGO and generate revenue for yourself, or actually redeem the cards from your MTGO account into the physical world. So there is a way to take what you put into MTGO and get it back out of it, right? And there's a player-based economy where everybody gets to interact with everybody. But Arena is a different beast. It doesn't cost any money to have an Arena account, but you are just kind of locked in a box with Wizards where you can't trade with anybody else. You can't do any kind of commercial activities with anybody else. There's no anything, no trading, no selling, no nothing. The only way to get stuff is basically by playing the game and earning it through a slow grind or paying Wizards money directly. So Arena is, for them, actually a much better proposition over time. Because with the MTGO redemptions, Wizards has to put out the cost of actually printing the cards. The cost of shipping it and everything is covered by the person redeeming it. But either way, Arena is like, you're locked in. There's no way to get your value back out of this, and Wizards gets all of the money. It's just it's a one-way street of value where Wizards gets that and you get digital rectangles. Now, I'm personally a big fan of Arena, and I find MTGO to be kind of clunky in some ways. It has every card, and it's arguably a better product from the standpoint of a consumer who's looking to maintain value or be able to extract value back out of it. But Arena, in terms of its ease of use and far more attractive interface, is actually a superior product in that regard. But MTGO is just better for the customer. But Wizards doesn't want to promote MTGO the same way anymore. The fact that when they went to do this poll, they didn't even bother mentioning MTGO shows that their priorities are even more skewed towards Arena than I originally thought. Arena is where they're putting everything now. I mean, aside from some side projects like the little mobile apps that the last time I tried weren't even working, and that Diablo style game that they're creating, which admittedly I'm curious to see, but I haven't really been looking at yet, because I feel like if I look at it now, the little glimpses that I've seen of it in passing make it seem like it's from 10 years ago, but that could just be like alpha graphics and whatever. So I'm trying not to judge it that much. But either way, that's enough of an aside on that particular point. What I'm trying to say is that MTGO doesn't get any advertising. Like, I don't see MTGO being talked about anywhere, really. You don't see inserts in the Magic boosters mentioning MTGO. You don't really hear it mentioned in most articles on Wizards' like main site. It feels like MTGO has been sequestered to its own little thing, and Wizards is more than happy to continue to sell product to people who are playing it. You know, if you're already playing MTGO, hey, great, we'll keep selling you product, because at the end of the day, MTGO does make them money. But on the other hand, Arena will make them more money. It's easier for them to deal with, and MTGO has had its opportunity. MTGO has been around for a long time, and if MTGO was going to become the main thing, it would have done so already. So it's interesting to see that Wizards' priorities have shifted so far that MTGO is no longer a priority for them. And the final thing that I wanted to talk about is the Chandra's Signature Spellbook. My brain wanted to say a completely different product. It almost became a tongue twister there. So now this is just the most minimal style leak there is, in that we can confirm that will be the next Signature Spellbook. It does exist in some form. Basically what happens is, on the WPN website, when a new product has been listed, there will be a web page specifically made for it, so that WPN, which is the Wizards Play Network, this is the behind the scenes website that is used by shop owners and things like that to figure out what new products are coming and to just kind of get any questions they have answered. It's a more straightforward way of presenting information, but at the same time, it does have some marketing spiel to it, but the marketing spiel is more targeted to, this is your perspective as a store owner. Here's why you want the product. Here's what it's going to do for your store. That's how this goes, right? So there is a Chandra Signature Spellbook page that has been confirmed to exist. Now, there's no information currently available on the page because the page is locked. But the way it works is, if you go to the Wizards website, the WPN site, and a product doesn't exist, then you will get a different error than if the page is locked. So the URL is there and good to go, and the page is locked, which means the Chandra Signature Spellbook is the next item coming down the pike in terms of signature spellbooks. And I actually wondered if they had discontinued those. So I was a bit surprised to learn there will be a Chandra Signature Spellbook. Now, I don't know where they're going to go with it, because the Jace one was pretty simple. Just, here's Jace the Mind Mage. But the Gideon one was set up in a, like, Sarah McLachlan, I will remember Gideon kind of way, right? Where they had this was after War of the Spark, and Gideon got destroyed. So they had the whole, like, here's the monument to Gideon and all that. So Signature Spellbook, if they stick to the normal way of doing it, is 8 special versions of cards aligned with Chandra. So the one card we can expect to see is the original Chandra Nalaar from Lorwyn, because when they're doing these signature spellbooks, it appears that each time so far, they're electing to use the very first iteration of this Planeswalker. So you'll get a Chandra Nalaar. The 7 other cards are undetermined at this point. Some of them will probably feel more tied to Chandra than others. In all honesty, this signature spellbook feels like the easiest to make, because Chandra, every single Chandra they've ever made is, I'm Chandra and I'm on fire. That's it. She's always Chandra Flaming, Chandra Burn. So you've got basically just any kind of spells that are fire aligned. Any sort of spells that are fire aligned are going to fit easily into this signature spellbook. But other than that, it's just a leak confirming its existence. We don't have any other details at this point. But just the fact the signature spellbook exists in itself was enough for me to include it in this little news update video. So my friends, let me know what you think about all of these different things we've discussed here down in the comments below. I do read all of the comments and take them in, and I weep with delight or sorrow depending on what nice things or mean things you're saying to me, because at the end of the day, I'm a sweet, precious flower. So thanks for coming and giving me the sunlight that I need to thrive. Sometimes I'm a ridiculous human being. So thanks for coming by, everybody. Big shout out to my patrons and channel members. Appreciate all the support you give to the channel. I'm going to head out now before I get even more ridiculous. So for now, I'm history, baby.